9.2. Contrast how an optical microscope and a transmission electron microscope work and contrast the limitations of their use when studying cells. So this is a contrast question. So you're looking to compare the two. You're not looking to write out everything you know about optical microscopes and then everything about transmission electron microscopes. You're wanting to make a comparison. So it's the idea that the transmission electron microscope will use electrons to work, whereas the optical microscope will use light. The transmission electron microscope will allow a greater resolution than the optical microscope. Because of this greater resolution, with the transmission electron microscope, you can see smaller organelles. They will allow you to name those cell structures. So we would be able to see some of the smaller structures, so things like ribosomes and the Golgi apparatus, the endoplasmic reticulum, or they will allow to say that you will be able to see them in greater detail. However, the transmission electron microscope, you can only see dead or dehydrated specimens. With an optical microscope, you can view live specimens. The transmission electron microscope doesn't show colour, whereas an optical can. The transmission electron microscope requires a thinner specimen. The ERs are underlined because they must be a comparative. You can't just say that it requires a thin specimen. It's the idea that it is thinner. The transmission does, however, require more complex or time-consuming preparation. Again, the idea of the comparative with more, not just that it does take a lot of time to set up, it will take more time. And the transmission electron focuses using magnets, whereas the optical uses lenses. So it's important that you are making clear comparative statements between the two, not just writing a list about each of them.